Greetings and welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. And in this video, I just wanted to kind of address something that I feel like I had not really mentioned and it's probably worth mentioning. And that is the fact that I haven't done as much role-playing content as I had originally planned. And the reason for that is I had a brainstorm, I guess you could say, or maybe a bad idea. I think it's actually a pretty good idea. And I developed, or am developing, it's pretty much done, but I don't want to call it complete just yet. And that is an app that I'm a programmer by profession, I guess you could say. So, well, you could say that because it's true. So I decided to use some of that, some of the skills I've built up in my career to create an app that I can use to help me run, in this case, Classic Traveler. You know, it will help me run it by keeping track of all the things that I would need to keep track of so that I can run a solo campaign using kind of a mashup of various solo tools. And I'll go into that when I actually launch the campaign. But for now, I just wanted to quickly show you what this app looks like and kind of run through some of the basic stuff that's in there. And then that'll give you an idea of what's going on. And also kind of close the gap on the fact that I haven't done any role-playing stuff in a while, and that is part of the portfolio of the Hexed Encounter channel now, so I do want to ensure that the people who watched maybe something one of my earlier RPG themed videos know that there will be RPG content here on the channel. So if you do subscribe, you will get notified when that stuff appears, along with everything else I do. And if you're not into war games, then you can ignore that. If you're not into sports games, you can ignore those too. But without further ado, I guess I'm just going to now go in and show you my Classic Traveler solo engine, as I'm calling it, because like I said, it is going to help me play this solitaire. Okay, so let's create a new campaign called Test. All right, so you can see we've got a different look here, and you've got all of these various tabs that you can go to, which cover a lot of the mechanics and so on, as well as we have kind of the Oracle here, which will let us, run it as a solo engine, which was the primary reason I built this. So it makes sense that I would, obviously integrate that. So we have solo tools in here as well. So first thing you might want to do is create a new character. But what you can do first is, if you wanted to start, you can actually create your own homebrew sector and subsectors and worlds and all that stuff. That is all supported in here. You create a new world here, create new sectors in here. And then when you create a character, you'll be able to put one of those created planets as that character's home planet. The other thing you can do is import from the Traveler map. So I connected it to the API from Traveler map, and if you click on this, you can pick a specific milieu if it is in the Traveler map list, and they have, I think, 4 or 5 of them. So if you wanted, say, the Interstellar Wars, you could do that, or milieu 0, or the default, which is just regular M1105, that is your default. So if you leave that blank, that's what you get. And then you can type in, and it says Spinwood Marches, so let's just do that one. Make it easy on ourselves, right? And then search, and you can see Spinwood Marches official Traveler universe. If you click on that, now you can import everything, including all the sectors, or you could, if you only wanted one, you could just click it and then pick. And you can also back all the way out as well if you didn't want the Spinwood Marches. Let's say we wanted the core sector instead. Then you have some different choices in here, but this is the one I meant, right? The core. And then in here you can, again, and you can actually look, if you click on one, you can see the worlds that are in there, as well as their UWP stats and everything. So you can do that, or let's just import the whole sector. So we've got 546 new planets across 16 subsectors. Now if we go to worlds, they're all listed here. and it'll tell you the zone, green or amber, whether or not it has a planetary navy. Looks like all of these do. And you can see there's a lot of planets in here now. So basically that's just one sector, and you can import as many of them as you want and make the, make it as massive as you want. And then you can actually create your own planet as well down here and save your world. So you can, roll. I guess you probably have to let's just create a fake planet called Hexed. We'll say it's in amber. We'll roll. If you wanted to, you could actually do it in here. Let's see, check world occurrence. No world. No world in this hex. There we go. Gas giant is present. Scout base 9 present. Naval base not rolled. It's a starport D, so ineligible. And then down here you get the stats for it, and then you can save it. So you can see it's a starport D, size 4, atmosphere 2, hydrographics 2, pop 6, government 4, law level 4, and tech level 8. And then you'd be able to save it, which I'm not going to do. But you could also see any of the planets on here. And you can pick one that you would want to use if you, let me go roll a, there is a faster way to scroll up. I was just doing it manually. But if we go to characters and create new character, and let's just say we're going to do me. And if you type, right, you got Cyro. But if I type SYL, maybe didn't I import the core? Maybe I messed that up. Let's find ourselves a good one. How about TLD? Let's go with this one. And we're going to roll our characteristics. Not great, but I mean, well, strength and intelligence. He's neither smart nor strong. He's got good dexterity and social standing. And then you can attempt to enlist in any of the potential careers here. So if we wanted to try scouts, for example, right? So you rolled a 3 plus 6 is 9. No die roll modifier. The target was 7. Success. Now, you click this. You're going to run the term, and you can be killed in character creation. And so let's see. Survived. Rolled a 10, so that's good. Gained Jack of all trades. Now that's a nice skill to pick up. And he also gained vehicle. Reenlistment. Rolled 8 versus 3 plus. May reenlist. So you can do as many terms as you want, just like you can in the game. And you can see his age is here, and it'll keep increasing as you go up. If we do another one, and he got killed. He got killed. So 3 plus 3 is 6, and you need a 7 or higher to survive, and he did not survive. So he was killed, unfortunately for him. So you can click that, and now he's recorded, but you can see he's deceased. So he's no longer in there, and his Jack of all trades did not save him from being killed. So if we click on Oracle here, this is where you would ask a question, and then you can say, now this is based on the solo from Zozer by Paul Elliott, and so it's relatively easy to use, and you can increase the chances of getting a positive, because it's situational, right? If you ask something like, did I find 1 million credits? That would be a probably no. And then you would get I mean, that's a ridiculous example, but that's the kind of thing that you might want to have in here. So, I mean, I could say, do I find a shotgun or something like that, right? Just something off the top of my head. And we'll say we have probably no, and we're going to roll no, and do I find a shotgun, right? So we rolled a 2, so that was going to be a no anyway. So it's a no and. So it's a not only no, but you also have a negative impact. And then you would still, of course, as the solo player, have to interpret that. And, you can put that in here before you ask the question and then maybe get something out of it. And this is where your dice, you can roll any die you want. So you can roll your 6d6 all at the same time. You can roll 2d6, roll 1d6. I mean, it's a d6 game, so you're only going to be able to roll d6s. Here are our solo tools. So this is, again, it mentions right up here, playing solo, classic travelers, mission, machine, and companion tables. This is from Zozer Games, right? I do have a source attribution. I should have said this at the top. I'm not planning on selling this or posting it for free or doing anything else with it, but use it for my own purposes. That's it. There's all kinds of legal stuff that would have to be done that I'm just not particularly interested in dealing with. So you're getting a look at it because I'm going to probably use it in my campaign when I start one, which hopefully will be not too much further on. Full disclosure, I'm also working on an app for both Traveler 5 and also Hostel to give myself some flexibility in what I decide to do. Using classic Traveler is obviously very tempting, but I do want to give myself the opportunity to perhaps try something different. So yeah, you can roll for a patron. We have task resolution in here. We have encounters, inspiration, which if you roll this, you can see you get different words that you can pair up and use that to maybe spark an idea. If you've played solo RPGs, especially if you've used like any of the Zozer solo stuff, then you would be familiar with this. But they all kind of work the same kind of way. And then there's this big NPC. So this is for an important campaign NPC. You roll 3 patron candidates, you pick your favorite. They get 6 characteristics on the 2d6 roll. They're always app rolled here. And you use character creation zone roll characteristics for manual entry. So if you wanted to create it yourself, that's how you would do it. 1d6 bonus points to distribute where desired, and 1d6 plus 6 skill levels to spend from any career table. So if we do this, you get a doctor, professor, and a broker. And then you can see the characteristics are here, bonus points, and so on. And then you decide on a career, and you roll the cash table to get it. That's pretty much how that works. Then we got personal combat, right? So this is the combat stuff, of course, as you might guess, melee combat or gun combat, because you do have range here: close, short, medium, long, and very long. Depending on your weapon, you could choose whatever weapon you're using. If you're using, say, a carbine, the defender's armor, you would select what armor they're wearing. Maybe they're wearing cloth. The range is medium. You can see your die roll modifiers are -3, range die roll modifiers are -2. Proficiency uses dexterity. You could fill it. His even though he's dead, you can still use him, so you kind of have to remember that. Check proficiency DM +1. Other DMs, proficiency, expertise, Wiccan blow, evasion, and then you would just roll to hit, and you rolled 4.5, or 4 plus 5 rather, armor, and so you lose 5, so that becomes a 4 versus an 8 plus, and you miss. Then if you had a wound, you could roll the wound dice to determine what kind of wound you got. We have animal encounters as well. So you can figure out not only what kind of animal you're going to be facing, but also like surprise and all that stuff. And we have encounters from Little Black Book 3. So this is their own random person, patron, and NPC reaction tables plus law level. Legal encounter check, distinct from the Solo Tools mission machine encounters, which are transcribed from a different source book. That is from Playing Solo Classic Traveler. And again, this is all for me, so I just left myself notes so that I would be able to find things. You can have psionics if we want to apply to a character. If you had more than one character, they'd be here in the Dropbox. You can select all that, and then you can do any of the psionic stuff that you wish. And we have ships. You can create your own ship. You can pick a design. If you want an X-boat, a tender, scout, far trader, so on, right? You can create your own tonnage. It'll figure all this stuff out. You can put turrets on it. It'll tell you what the cargo is and all that, and your 2 drives, what kind of drives you want, and so on. And you can have various things. So this is your basic design, and you have small craft, right? These are the little guys. So you have a fighter and all of the other little stuff. Here's the economics. This is how much it's going to cost, as well as your fuel and all that stuff as well, right? So if you're, carrying passengers, you'll have, how many staterooms you have booked out, low berths, how many days in port, and then salaries for payroll and all that stuff for all of your crew. And revenue is the flip side of that, right? So you can do trade by going from, one place. So you could say we're going to go from maybe here to here. And you fill the distance from the world's distance is 5 parsecs. And the ship's jump rating, you compute the route, 5 legs, 5 weeks elapsed. And you have cargo down here. You can roll for your cargo. Passengers, you can roll for your passengers. We have 1 middle, 8 low passage. You can see how much money you get from that. If you're carrying mail, you can do that and all kinds of stuff, right? So everything's in here. We got more combat here. This is ship combat. Then you have Starship encounters. If you run, when you enter a system, you can roll to see if you've encountered a ship. We have reference here. You can search any of the rule sets. So if you want, all rule sets will get you all 8 little black books and the solo. Then you can also pick your first 3 little black books, and you can of course pick the solo. So if you wanted to see, like, let's just use the example, Oracle, just hit search. Ask the Oracle, and you can get information on it. Although I need to fix this because it should be more than that. And it's supposed to be clickable, so something's not right there. Diagnostics, you can see my app version is 0.1.0. This is like pre-release beta kind of thing. And the backups and all that stuff that I have. So this is just my way of maintaining it from the back end. I also, of course, have the Codebase, and I can do whatever I want with it. So that is my look at my Classic Traveler Solo app. Again, I'm not planning on selling this. I'm not planning on giving it away. Mainly for legal reasons, also because right now, I don't want to support it. I can support it for myself because I can jump in there and code whatever, but if it's out there in the wild, people will have problems with it, and I'll probably get hit up for fixes, as you would expect as, the developer. But I just don't have the time for that right now. So I'm kind of showing this because if I do play, a campaign and use it, then I will probably show some of the things that you're seeing here in action during the campaign, rather than just boring old table stuff. Although I could just do it more like a podcast and just be audio only. That to me seems extra boring. So, a campaign, live play, it can be a little dry depending on your interest level. So I'm just looking at things that may jazz it up a little bit, and this will genuinely help me play because it'll help me keep track of everything. That was key for me, is to cut down on the paperwork, right? I get paperwork it's all digital now, but I get, electronic paperwork. I have to deal with at my job. So less paperwork in my leisure time is always a good thing. So we're done. If you have feedback, suggestions, things like that, maybe, put it in the comment section. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can, of course. I do appreciate you watching. I'd ask you to like, share, hype, the usual spread of stuff, with, of course, the big kahuna of those being the subscribe. If you're not a subscriber, please consider it. You can click the subscribe button. You can also click the bell to get notifications. But even if you don't do any of that stuff, hopefully you'll come back and check out some videos down the road. But we are done, as I said. So quick shout out to my channel members, which I always do because I do appreciate their support. But yeah, I'm signing off. This is Joe, Hexed Encounter Channel. And until next time, as always, happy gaming.